All right, you guys, we are here for the first tell-all, and I don't know, were they really telling all? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Red Lipstick Reality TV. You know I'm going to be talking about everything Sister Wives here, so hey, if you're new, welcome to my channel. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really helps me to grow my channel. If you're coming back, welcome back, Red Lipstick Club. You guys, I am rocking my orange and blue for the Broncos because we did win, and we are all of a sudden having a season full of magic, and I am here for it. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys that celebrated the holiday with your family. Welcome back. I have some hopefully really cool things planned for the next tell-all. I'll keep you guys posted, but I did make some connections over the weekend and we'll see what happens. But also, these flowers here, it's my birthday this week and my mommy sent me these. So thank you, Mom, for the beautiful flowers. But you guys, I got to get into this because this is a long episode. I wouldn't say it's the most exciting, but there were some points that I really want to talk about that I thought were pretty interesting. And I'm going to have a few WTF moments surrounding those. So, hey, get your drink ready, your coffee. Turn this on like a podcast if you need to. Let's go. Right into it, y'all. You know I set it up like segments. My first segment of the tell-all is called, Why Do We Still Have Sukanya? I'm sorry, you guys. It's killing me. I know a lot of you, too, were upset to see that she was going to be doing the tell-all again. Where is Tamron Hall? Or maybe where is Dr. Phil? At least with Dr. Phil, I think he would be respected enough by Cody to where he could actually put Cody's feet to the fire and he would actually answer questions. And Tamron Hall was really invested in the show, and she would ask some of those nosy questions we had as viewers. We've been watching the show for 18 seasons, and I'm sorry, but they've been lying for a large portion of it. We need somebody in there that's going to ask the questions that the fans want to know. Because if you're going to do these tell-alls and you're going to have this show, you need to deliver. You can't just be softballing through all this. It's crazy to me. So, yeah, I'm sorry, y'all, that Sukanya will be doing this, unfortunately, but we're still going to talk about the show. We're still going to do the tell-alls. We've already invested through 14 episodes for season 18. We might as well get through these last 4 and see what they have to talk about. I do love them showing Christine putting on 1,000,001 earrings, you guys. As you know, in this season, Cody talks about how he didn't want any of his wives wearing earrings. And when I tell you guys, Christine had them all the way up around her ear. And I really feel like that's on purpose for her. I feel like she's just really taking herself back through this process. And is like, I'm going to do everything this man said he didn't want me to do or like. I'm going to do it all, including eating nachos and wearing earrings. So yes, Christine is just another knife in the kidney, baby. Also, seeing Mary leave the B&B as opposed to seeing her leave a home in Flagstaff made me really happy, which means she's no longer wasting money living in a home in a city that the man she loves doesn't love her back anymore. She's not wasting her time anymore. And that brought me a lot of joy to see Mary at the B&B as opposed to wasting away in Flagstaff on her own. Oh, I did laugh. I did have a little giggle when Sukanya immediately stuck out her hand to shake Cody's hand. Because you guys know the last tell-all, he gave her this weird, awkward hug, you know, and she was like, don't hug me. And she didn't even give him a chance to do that this time, y'all. She had that hand out so quick, like, no. We could shake hands, and that's all this is going to be. It's like she stopped him in his tracks. It wasn't going to happen. That was hilarious. You guys, thought this was kind of an interesting theme where Sukanya asked them like if they could have like a theme song for this. What's their theme song? And the two that really stood out for me is Mary saying she wanted single ladies. And I'm like, come on, Mary. That's hilarious. I love that. And Cody's saying he is losing his religion, losing my religion. And I thought that was really convenient considering he abandoned, you know, three women in the process of losing this religion. And then I also thought it was interesting that Robin didn't have a song. Maybe I missed it, but she's just such a constant, as they say, wounded dove and woe is me, that I think she'd find a way to not even answer that question because she's just so devastated. She just can't possibly take the time to think up something as simple as a song. You know her, y'all. Constant victim. But anywho, we're going to get right into it, you guys, because this is going to be my My WTF moment, number one, we're going to start right away. Here we go.
The blame lays on one thing and one thing only. If you're going to marry and you're going to marry for eternity, you should start out in love.
Okay, y'all. Cody, you should start out in love. Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. Should we pull the tape? Should we pull a receipt? Roll the footage.
20 years ago, I married Mary. And then 17 years ago, I married Janelle. And then 16 years ago, I married Christine. I just fell in love. And then I fell in love again. And then I fell in love again.
Now, isn't it convenient, y'all, that in episode 1 of season 1, he says he fell in love with Mary, then he fell in love again, and he fell in love again. He didn't say he had feelings for these women and then he grew to fall in love with them. He specifically said he fell in love, fell in love, fell in love. So what was it? Were you lying from the beginning, or are you lying now? Which is the lie? And this is when you need someone like Tamron Hall, because I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you don't think Tamron Hall would have had the same receipt I just had and been like, Cody, when you made episode 1 of season 1, you said you were in love with each one of these women. You went on interviews all across the country saying you were in love with these women and tried to defend these marriages when people were calling you out saying there was no possible way you could be in love with these women. And you defended all of this whole time. Now you're telling me you actually were never in love with any of these women. Not even Mary. This is all, and as far as you're concerned, this is all religion. Now, my question for you is this. The marriage to Robin was also supposed to be about a calling and religion. It's supposed to be about your faith. It wasn't supposed to be about you going out into the world and finding another wife to replace the ones you had because you weren't in love with the ones you had. That's what we call an affair. So basically what we are clearly seeing is Cody set out with the focus to find a woman he was actually in love with, and he had an extramarital affair. That's what happened. That's clearly what happened. Because otherwise, your relationship with Robin would have had the same stipulations. It would have been completely surrounded by the religion and the faith. It would have had absolutely nothing to do with anything else. But what ended up happening, which we all clearly see, is you were out dating. You were out having an affair, and you fell in love with your mistress. And here we are. Here we are, y'all. So anyway, they go on about that. They go on about this deep connection he had with Robin, which I don't care about hearing him. Like I said before, the man had an affair. And ultimately, we all know Robin really just needed a savior. And Cody wanted to be needed. And he didn't really have that feeling at home because he wasn't present enough, because no one man can be present enough for 3 different women in 3 different families. We all know this. So guess what? These women all had to become extremely independent, which means they don't need you as much. That's just a natural evolution of polygamy. There's no way that a woman could survive in these marriages if they put all their soul needs upon you. You also never had the finances during that point for the other women to have help. They could not afford nannies. They could not afford help. They could not afford a house cleaner. They could barely afford to go out on a date. You were out here with TLC money now, and you had the means to do those things. You also had these older teenagers that could watch Robin's kids. So you guys were out here living the lives of 2 basically single people. That's crazy to me. When you really think about that, you guys, that's really crazy. He talks about how he was weeping for joy around Robin. Oh God, y'all. I wish I could really love their love story. And unfortunately, because of how he went about it, I can't even root for a love story in this scenario, because the way this has just completely devastated a family, and this man has taken minimal to no accountability for that. I can't even root for his love story. Mary and Janelle and Christine are better than me, because at least they're like, hey, we hope he's happy, blah, blah, blah. I can't even give him that. because the way he went about it was just so terrible. I can't even root for his love in this. I just have nothing to say about it. It's just terrible. Also, too, when you think about it, he married all three of the first wives within a 3-year span of time. So he never had any alone time with, especially Janelle and Christine, to get to know them on a personal level. He only dated them for like, what, a month or so? And they called it courting. And I'm sure most of that courting was in like a throuple, or like, with Mary tagging along. I doubt there was very much time where they were alone and intimately connected the way he was doing with Robin. So yeah, of course it's going to be a different scenario. And you were young. You didn't really know what love was. I mean, to compare what love means at 19 and 20 or 21 even to what it feels like at 40, it's not even the same. What you value, what you look into, what you're more than likely interested in, those things significantly change when you become an adult with children, and there's no baggage. You had no baggage connected to Robin. So it was just easy breezy. They also revisit the moment where Christine called Cody out for being in love with Robin, you guys. And I feel like had they been financially independent, I think all of women should have left him right at that point where he wouldn't even acknowledge the fact that he was clearly in love with Robin, and it was going to change and adjust his relationships with the other wives, because he did not have that same investment in them. And because he could not admit that, he just strung these women along, knowing good and full well he did not feel the same for them. He did not feel the same. But I do feel had they been all financially independent at that point, that they would have left him then. But I think it was just too many finances wrapped up, and also Cody's pretty manipulative. So I'm sure he was pretending pretending with them that he would work it out. But I think around that point, it was pretty clear how he was alienating and emotionally isolating and alienating Mary. And then he was starting to do that to Christine and Janelle. And then these women are living on their own now at this point, having to manage their own homes, do everything on their own. It's going to change. It's really going to change. So let's move on, y'all. We're going to go to segment 2. And this is going to be Cody says he never saw any problems. That's what I'm going to call segment 2. Cody never saw any problems. Where were the problems at? We don't know. Lord, you guys, when he met Robin, this is when he said it was like the first time being in love. And the way he just dismisses and just disregards Mary is so crazy to me. Like, for Mary to have been as loyal to him as she was, for her to hold that secret in, that they were basically no longer going to be married, and for her to, hold that in for him because he didn't want to expose it, and for him to get on national television right now and say he'd never been in love until he met Robin. It's just very, I'm not a doctor, and I can't diagnose people, but to say this isn't narcissism and just one of the worst cases of it, I just don't know what else you can call it at this point. Maybe personality disorder or multiple, I don't know, but something is really off when you're okay with saying things like that. That was really crazy. And then this is when Sukanya asked Mary if subconsciously he is getting what he wants with the deterioration of all the other marriages. And I think they actually should have asked Cody this question. I want to put him on the spot, and they never want to put him on the spot. They're asking the women this question. Duh, of course he's getting what he wants, but I want to hear it from his mouth, Cody. Like, just own it. You didn't want to be a plural husband anymore. You didn't want to be in polygamy anymore. You didn't. And I think the only reason why you're even pretending that you might want to do with Janelle is because Janelle doesn't really require you to be a full husband to her. You're thinking you're just going to get back with her and it's going to be the same as it was before, because Janelle doesn't really require your presence in that way. But I think even for Janelle, as time has gone on, she's saying to herself, maybe I actually do need more. But for the longest, she didn't really require you to be that present. And I think that's why you're thinking that relationship might work and that one's okay. But you don't want to be a full husband to 4 different women. You have no desire to do that. Christine gave him the opportunity to own up to the fact that the odds of him emotionally alienating the other woman from jump, that he needed to either fix it or move on. And he just strung them along, you guys. He was just selfish. He had no desire to fix anything. And Janelle speaks up to the obvious point that once he met Robin, he really wasn't interested in plural marriage anymore. And I think we all kind of found that to be evident. And he found as many excuses as possible not to be at the other wife's house and to be at Robin's house. Basically, Janelle says he has a responsibility, and the responsibility is that he should be able to pour into each wife's cup, right? Emotionally and physically. I think at one point when he only had the 3 wives, yes, he was stretched thin, but he had more of an investment in the family as a whole. Once he got Robin, his focus switched. And it's interesting when you think back on all of the therapy sessions he has, where he's always like, the family is first. But when you hear him speak and how he's spoken for the past couple of years and couple of seasons, there's no way that the family is first. Because if the family was first, Robin would not be on the pedestal where all your decision making relies on how Robin is treated and how Robin's children are treated. That's how he makes his decisions. And that's how he also treats his relationships with everyone else, is based on how they interact with Robin. And if it's about the family first, Robin should not be at a completely different tier level than everybody else. It's off. So it doesn't work, Cody. Then he says, we're still talking about a potential reconciliation with Janelle. Cody, stop. It's not happening. Moving on from that. Cody also then brings up at this point that he doesn't want to gossip, you guys. You know, even though it's in the family, it's not really gossip, but he doesn't want to gossip from home to home. You are the ultimate gossip. Cody, every single wife has said that you've done nothing but gossip to each one of them from the beginning of your marriages. This is what you do. You are an expert at it. You are sassy about it. You are a masterful keying gossiper. Own it. This is who you are. This is you, boo-boo. You love it. You live for it. You've used it to create division, so that way you can be the one that everybody runs to it. And now that it's no longer working, now you're mad. Cut it. This is where we're going to enter the WTF moment number 2, because this is where Cody actually says the truth about himself.
So I'm like going, I don't want to ask about anybody else because I don't want anybody talking about me. Mm-hmm. And what are they trash talking me about? They're trash talking me because I'm guilty. Actually, yes, I am, of not loving them.
I mean, this man's guilty of a lot of things, but let me tell you, guilty of not loving them. This is where Cody put his foot in his mouth, y'all. And then Sukanya pauses and she repeats back to him, you know, this pretty much eye-opening statement that he's making, because it really validates and confirms what all of us have really knew. And he basically just fumbles and stumbles, you know, over his words in an effort to kind of retract it, but it's too late. It's already come out.
You're admitting?
Oh no, I got angry. And so I'm like, well, if we don't want to work on this, if we can't work this out, then I'm withdrawing this.
But are you admitting that you are guilty of not loving them enough to help the relationship?
No.
You admitted, you just admitted what we all knew, what we've all known, is this was all a farce. You never really loved these women. You've been lying about it to everybody, including the women. And at the end of the day, you could no longer keep up the act anymore. You could no longer do it. And you were terrible. You were just terrible at dismantling this mountain of lies that you had built. You let the bricks of lies stack up and just watch them tumble down. And as I say, you came in like a wrecking ball, baby. You wrecked it. You wrecked it. So that was interesting, y'all. He says he was guilty for not being in love with them. And you're just a liar, Cody. You're just a liar. I just think it's the audacity of him even saying that he wants a romantic relationship with Janelle. And it's like, give me a break. You can't even show up for her or her daughter. So now you want to have a romantic relationship with her? How? You can't even show up. You can't even show up for basic things. You can't even provide the basic needs for her. And you can pretty much tell that Janelle's love language is acts of service. Feels like Cody's is more words of affirmation. and also maybe physical touch. And Janelle's is clearly acts of service. So if you can't provide acts of service to her, which will then feed her love tank, she's not going to do anything romantic with you, because you can't even manage that anymore. You're complaining about it. You're complaining about the things that demonstrate love to her that she can receive. You don't have the capacity to do it. Robin, y'all acting like she can't watch this fight, because now we have to watch this fight again between Janelle and Cody. And I'm noticing too, Janelle is one of those people that needs time to gather her thoughts before she speaks. She's really thoughtful about that. She doesn't just want to spout things out. So Cody knows that about her, which is why he kept yelling at her and throwing her off and not allowing for her to put two and three thoughts together, because they would be, number one, the thoughts that make too much sense, and it would really call him out. And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to give her the satisfaction of being able to call him to the carpet. So he was throwing her off by, spouting all this stuff at her, because he knew it would fluster her, because that's not how she processes things or how she speaks. She likes to be thoughtful in her thought process and how she delivers messages. And so it's just, that's how manipulative he is. He even knows how to throw her off, so that way she's not able to have a real conversation about anything. And this is what I was bringing up with Robin, act like she couldn't watch. She kept turning her head like she couldn't watch the argument. I'm like, Robin, everything is about you. Like, you just have to make a scene. You can't, you know what? Turn your head and watch this. Watch what's happening on this screen right now, because you played a part in what you are witnessing. You need to hear these things. You need to see this. This is the man you're married to. You need to own this moment. You contributed to this. You don't get to hide away from it and shy behind it and act like you're the victim and you don't know what's going on and you never know what's happening and you're so confused. I've never seen a more confused, misinformed, misunderstanding person in my life. Robin is the ultimate at that. I've never seen somebody so confused in my life, but have so much access to information. But I'm like, Robin, don't you have access to the same show and the same, don't you have access to a HBO Max account just like me? You mean to tell me you can't go back and hit the rewind tape and roll the film on a lot of this stuff? Because it's really hard to rewrite history unless it happened prior to the show airing. That's the only history that Cody can actually rewrite, and you can't roll the bean footage on it. Everything else, boo-boo, we can roll the footage. I've already demonstrated it here in this video. It's not that difficult for you to go back and see what's really going on. It's not that hard. Matter of fact, you wrote a whole book about it. So stop it. Cut with the I don't know what's happening. Oh, we find out that Cody was triggered for that argument, you guys, by the Christmas tree, because Janelle said she's going to take it to the house where they're all going to meet up. Oh my God. So that's his response. If he's sad or upset about something, he's going to do that. But you want to be married to this man. Okay. I do find this interesting, though, when they're talking about the fights. So Kanya asks, hey, have you ever had a fight like this before? Cody says they've had a few like that over the 30 years. Janelle, in the next segment, says she's never had a fight like that. And I'm like, who's lying here? Janelle or Cody? And I'm sorry, I hate to say it, y'all, but I'm kind of more so leaning towards Cody maybe telling the truth on this on his end, because Janelle tends to blow things off and think they're not that big of a deal or not that trivial. And I could easily see them, back in the day having an argument that was something similar to this, that she just kind of maybe blew off and Cody did not blow it off. I don't know. You tell me in the comments below. Do you think they've had a fight like this in the past? Or do you think it's what Janelle is saying? This has never happened before. We've never argued like this before. We might have had a few choice words, but we've never had a blow up like this. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Moving on, y'all. Segment 3. I'm calling Christine Turns the Tables on Polygamy. That's what I'm calling this segment. I like that they call out that it's always about what someone else did with Cody. He never takes any accountability. He's always blaming somebody else first, without saying, hey, maybe it's something I did. Maybe it's something I contributed to. And Mary said at best he needs some self-introspection. And I really love that Mary, even she's saying it so calmly, but it's so shady. And I love it, because she's like, I think you need to take a look in the mirror, Cody. She says it in such a pleasant way that it's like the ultimate level of shade. And I'm just so here for Mary calling him out. Like, you're asking everybody else to look in the mirror and asking everybody else to see what they've done. And you have yet in any of these failed marriages taken the time to look at your own reflection and look at your own self. He's taken no time to do that. So I'm glad that she actually called that out about him. Then we get to Robin, you guys, on the screen. She's finding a way to stay on Cody's side again. She's acting like a wounded duck. Oh, well, he told me that he was sad about the tree and because Christine had left him and, you know, Janelle's still his wife. Oh, God, y'all. It just gets on my last nerve. And it's like, what, for me, I'm like, what's the point of sister wives? Because haven't they always told us that the sister-wife relationships are just as important as the marriage itself? Like, that's how you make it work because you're one whole family. So why would he feel just because Christine is getting a divorce that all of a sudden everything that connected her to all the other sister wives would just disappear? She raised Janelle's children. As far as her kids are concerned, that's their mom. Like sometimes she's low-key more their mom than what Janelle is. It's like Janelle feels probably more to them like a dad at this point because she's really fulfilling that role for them. And honestly, it probably always has. And Christine is more like the mom. So you're asking these kids and you're asking Janelle to give up the mom and their family. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. You don't just get to do that. And sure, maybe Janelle could have been a little bit more like, okay, Cody, you're all right. But you know who Janelle is. And I'm like, would it feel authentic if she all of a sudden started acting like that? It's not her personality. It wouldn't even feel authentic if she was doing that. Cody's basically jealous because he's saying, why couldn't they get along like this when they were, you know, for 25 years? And Christine basically calls him out like, this is what jealousy looks like. There's going to be times where you're not going to get along, but if you work through it, you're able to have a really good relationship after and a really good bond. And that's what Janelle and I have done. Cody, had you put as much effort into breaking this family apart and put more of that effort into keeping this family together, maybe you too would have connections with me. And maybe you would have a connection with Janelle. Maybe you would, but you don't. I also think, too, he's always talking about loyalty. I'm like, if you wanted loyalty so bad, then why did you just completely emotionally alienate Mary? She was the most loyal. She's incredibly loyal. Even after you had basically cut off the marriage, she was still there. She was still trying. And honestly, if it's all about Robin, Mary put Robin on a pedestal, and you still played Mary. So what is it? Just say you don't want to be a polygamist anymore. It has, at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with how they treat Robin. Because even if they did treat her great, we all know you would have found a way to emotionally alienate all these women because you don't want to be a polygamist. You don't. I would have felt better if he just said, you know what, guys, I hate to say this, but I don't want to be a polygamist anymore. I'm done. I'm done. And instead of dragging these women on for another decade, it's like, to drag them for a whole decade, knowing you did not love these women. You knew you didn't love them. Oh my God, y'all, it makes me sick. Now we also bring up Cody talking about when he has COVID, and then we find out that, you know, we're getting more details into that and how Christine and Janelle were on vacation together and how he calls Janelle. Janelle's worried and stuff. He's trying to tell her, hey, I need you to come home and get me stuff. And Christine's like, Janelle, he has a wife there. He also has kids with vehicles there. They're isolated. Even if you were there, you couldn't see him. You couldn't go there. And I'm really glad Christine brought up the point that when she was sick, that man was nowhere to be found. He wasn't taking care of Janelle when she was sick. He left it up to her, left it up to her kids and everybody else to take care of her. He was nowhere to be found when she was sick. So I find it interesting that he decided to make that call. I'm telling you why he made that call, because the narcissist in him was losing control over his wife, and he knew it. And he thought to himself, if I can get her to leave Christine in this moment where they're having a vacation and have her just totally disregard this fun adventure, whatever she's doing, and come home just to drop off groceries to me, it will demonstrate to me that I still have power over this relationship. And when Janelle said no, he knew right then and there he no longer had power over Janelle. And I don't think that relationship could have ever recovered from there. I just think at that point he was done with Janelle. I don't care what he says. When she told him no at that moment, he was done with her. And he was going to make her life miserable and make her pay. Because that's what they do. They want to make you pay for what you did. Moving on, y'all. Segment 4. There are family bullies, apparently. Woo! Now, we have heard Gwendolyn and we have heard McKelty, I believe, too, talk about the bullying in the family, which I went with that many people. I'm not shocked. I'm pretty sure there was bullying. But the way he's trying to say the bullying happened, I don't think so, y'all. Your children have felt victimized by Robin, and they're entitled to feel that way. And for him to basically say, if you don't like Robin, then I can't deal with you, is not fair. It really is not, because you're allowing for Robin to say that she feels victimized and she feels unsafe, and you're not allowing for your children to feel that same way. You're allowing for Robin's children to feel that way, but you're not allowing for Janelle or Christine or Mary or any of their children to feel that way about Robin and her children. Savannah has clearly pointed out that from the beginning with Robin's children, that she has not felt welcome. It was weird. It was always a weird relationship, very isolating from them. I could absolutely see that. And I have yet to hear Cody acknowledge that. Acknowledge Savannah's feelings and how Robin's kids bullied her. Because that's what it seems like to me. So let's just call it all out here. He basically thinks it's okay to call his kids assholes. That is so crazy to me, you guys. And it's because, she doesn't feel welcome, or her kids don't feel welcome. So he doesn't have to be a dad to them because of her. Okay. All right, Cody. I think Robin's lying in this moment right here, you guys. She says she does not believe that, she says that she would have brought her kids and herself to Janelle's house had she gotten an invitation to that. I do not believe that, as was clearly demonstrated from McKelty's gender reveal party that was virtual, the most safe environment they could have been on, and her kids didn't even show up for that. So stop it, Robin. You would not have. And this is when I needed somebody like Tamron Hall to call her to the carpet on this. Robin, let's keep it real. Your kids weren't even on the virtual call with McKelty. So it's really difficult for me to believe that you would have shown up at Janelle's house for the holidays if you were invited. I don't believe that. I think you're trying to make yourself look like some kind of peacemaker that you really aren't. And I need you to own that you would not do that. But of course we have Sukanya who won't do that. So that's why I'm annoyed. I also think for myself in this moment, like why is it that Robin's, the safety of Robin's kids takes priority over everyone else? Like, why is Robin's safety and her kids' safety priority? I don't understand that. If you're all about the family, Cody, they should never take priority over anybody. Everybody should be on the same playing field, the same level. But of course, we all know you fell in love with Robin, so that you were not capable of putting her on the same level as everybody else because you put her on a pedestal. Oh, Lord. Here we go, Robin. She's calling out the years that Janelle and Cody have been together and how many kids they've had together. And I just think this way, Robin, like, isn't it odd that this man could emotionally alienate these women that have given him all these children and all these years of their lives, and he could just alienate them the way he has? Isn't that a red flag for him? You don't, it's like she'll bring these things up, but she doesn't put any accountability on him. She just says things like, you should go talk to him. Well, he did it. Now what, Robin? He has no consequence. You're telling him to do these things, but there's no consequence for him not doing it. So what does it matter to him? Why would he go out of his way to go talk to these women or do anything if there's no consequence? I would do what Cody's doing now too. I wouldn't do anything. There's no consequence. I don't want to see those people anyway. So what do I care? That's how he's acting. Also, to this moment, the value on kids, like bringing up like you have all these kids. And now I see why Mary really never had a chance, y'all. Like, because she didn't have all these kids, she never was going to be seen as having a high value to anybody. I really feel bad for Mary. And just as a person that doesn't have children, there's just a different value, I think, that's put on you just by society in general. And just to only have one kid or no kids, it's like you don't have the same value as an adult or a human being. And I just really felt for Mary through that. And I could really see how devalued she was because of that and how painful that probably was for her. Once again, Sukanya drops the ball with Cody again because she doesn't ask him about Savannah, because that point is brought up in the clip where in the clip, Janelle with him at the restaurant and they're talking and she says, you haven't even called Savannah. Why did Sukanya not ask him, Cody, why are you not managing your relationship with Savannah. I'm going to tell you right now, you guys, if they don't bring that up in at least one of these 4 tell-alls, we've got a serious problem with TLC, and I'm questioning the credibility of the production and also of the journalism of Sakanya, because that situation right there, you can no longer gloss over. We've had multiple occasions now where we have had Savannah talk about the relationship with her dad. I'm going to tell you right now, if I don't hear that come up, I am going to, I think at that point we need to just go on the TLC page and just spam that page to death and be like, we need to hear about Savannah and Cody. We have to. And Sakanya, I do not want her back again. If I'm telling you right now, if I don't hear her bring up Savannah, I'm done. I am done with Sakanya. Like, that's crazy to me. Why would you not ask that question? That is crazy. I will end up on a positive, though, you guys, with Janelle cracking up laughing about Cody and the pecs. Another thing, too, is like we're asking this question about Cody and his pecs. We don't care. The fans don't care about that, Sukanya. We don't care about Cody and his pecs. We thought it was so gross. We don't want to talk about it again. And honestly, I'll tell you this. Cody was a narcissist, so that's why he used that as a metaphor. But I understand what he's saying, where he's really only there more like a service person, like an errand boy to Janelle. And I can see that. But at the same time, Cody, if you're only seeing her every couple of weeks, guess what? Those honey-do lists start to stack up. And you're her husband. The honey-do lists don't shrink when you get more wives. They grow. There'll be lots of stuff that you guys have to do. Okay? Lots of stuff you're going to have to do when you get to that home. So I don't know why you're so upset about the fact that Janelle had to do that. Like, that she needs you to do those things for her. I'm just saying. Honey-do list. You got 4 wives. You're going to have 4 lists. Oh, Lord. Either way, you guys go. The segment, as we've seen these segments continue for the next couple of episodes that are coming, we're going to see basically Cody continue to be a narcissist. We're going to see Robin playing victim. And I'm hoping we'll actually see Mary grow up here and actually air Cody and Robin out, especially her relationship with Robin. I would love to see her really air Robin out on this fake relationship that she's claiming she has with Mary, because it's not giving what she thinks it's giving. So either way, you guys, if you haven't seen, I'm going to be doing a live this week to celebrate my birthday. So check in on that. I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'm pretty sure I put it for Tuesday or Wednesday. Check my lives. Turn on your notifications so you get the notifications. But I definitely have a live scheduled for you guys to hang out and maybe do a little birthday toast and have a little celebration. I've got some fun announcements coming up this week, and put out a couple more videos this week. But until next time, you guys, thanks for joining Red Lipstick Club and Red Lipstick Reality TV. I'll see you later on the tube. Bye.